The Autopen scandal is the largest scandal in American history, and Trump has said the reason why the Democrats want all of us in MAGA to be divided and focused on the Epstein document is because the Democrats are promoting it, saying, go look at the Epstein files. Why? And this is Trump said, they don't want us concentrating on what is actually effective, which is the Autopen scandal.
You're watching Doug's in Exile. You're watching Doug in Exile. Yeah.
Welcome to Doug in Exile. This is where the happy patriots are. Hope you guys have subscribed. It'd be great to get me up to 1 million subscribers. However, I'm just here to put on a show, make the news a little entertaining, and show you the big picture of what's going on between the Democrats and Republicans. Specifically, this one is movement on the Autopen scandal. Now, this is going to involve James Comer, but also some big strategy stuff on why this scandal has to have legs. And I believe Joe Biden could come out and say, you know what? I did not approve the Autopen. That could save his legacy. Watch this. Here's James Comer confirms the Jill Biden's chief, who was deeply involved in Biden's cognitive cover-up, pled the fifth, refused to speak to Congress behind closed doors.
Longtime aide Anthony Bernal was on Capitol Hill this morning under subpoena, and Republican leaders called him the ultimate gatekeeper, someone who had unfettered access to Joe Biden, really the whole family in the White House. According to House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer, Bernal declined to answer any questions. Let's watch.
This is the second witness that we've brought in via subpoena for a deposition that has pled the fifth, and they've stated they're not going to answer questions. I think that the American people are concerned. They're concerned that there were people making decisions in the White House that were not only unelected, but no one to this day knows who they were. We believe there was illegal use of the Autopen. We're going to continue to bring these people in, give them an opportunity to answer questions.
The illegality, again, that was something I had touched on with Senator Johnson moments ago, and now on the Hill, that is definitely part of what's going on in hearings. This is the second former Biden official subpoenaed in the Autopen investigation to plead the fifth in testimony. The House Oversight Committee has more testimony scheduled in the weeks to come and expanding their probe into whether staffers were propping up the president, who may or may not have been making any of those decisions.
We only need one of these people to crack, gang. That's why they're bringing in so many. This is kind of what Fonnie Willis did on those 18 RICO charges, 18 RICO accusations to get them to flip and get them to start talking. You only need one to start getting the information. This is important because until those pardons are undermined or reversed or removed, you can't get Milley, you can't get Fauci, you can't get Adam Schiff, you can't get Liz Cheney, you can't get every major crime that was committed over the last 4 years that Joe Biden Autopen covered for him, though none of the signatures were actually from Joe Biden himself. Now we're going to go to, this is Byron Donald's on that same, you saw him over Comey's shoulder there. This is Byron Donald's on that whole exchange.
Your leadership on this issue. First things first, that's just crazy. You can't answer a simple question about the former president's ability to discharge his duties, and you worked in the White House as chief of staff to the first lady, and you come in here and you plead the fifth. He can say whatever he wants in his testimony, which, by the way, his attorney read. He wouldn't even read his own statement. His attorney read a statement for him. So you came in there and said that him pleading the fifth is not an admission of guilt or anything about what was going on in the Biden White House, or was to give any inkling to the fact that Joe Biden was lacking in capability. The fact that he couldn't make any statement, the fact that the White House doctor couldn't make any statement, and they both pled the fifth, which is their constitutional right to do, and we respect the Constitution like every American does. But the fact that they are now hiding behind the Constitution so that they don't have to tell the truth to the American people about Joe Biden's capabilities and mental faculties while he was president of the United States is not just shocking, It's stunning, and it demonstrates the level of corruption that was going on in that administration.
And look, if all they're going to do is plead the fifth, if every one of them is going to plead the fifth, then that's what we run on in 2026 and 2028. The Republicans just go, look, we brought in 12 witnesses and all 12 of them pled the fifth on the Joe Biden Autopen scandal. If this is the kind of administration that you want, go vote for Democrats. Plead the fifth, use the Autopen, create a shadow government. That's going to become our job to market them to the public as the greatest cover-up in American history. So I'm only saying just because they plead the fifth doesn't mean they get away with it. They could lose every election going forward because they're not transparent, because they pled the fifth.
The chairman is being nice. I don't have to be. This is corruption at the highest level. Because if you cannot answer a simple question about Joe Biden's capabilities, then that further demonstrates that he was not in charge of his administration. And if he was not in charge in his administration, then every order, every bill that was signed, every memorandum, as far as I'm concerned, are null and void. And congressional Democrats need to actually step into the light and not hide behind this stuff or run away from it, because everything that administration did, as far as I'm concerned, is unlawful.
Oh, yeah, it is unlawful. But the congressional Democrats, what are they doing on this? The only thing they're being vocal about is that they just want to talk about the Epstein files. Okay, that's a psyop. That's a distraction. Here's more on it. Here's breaking. This is that picture that was shown in that last clip. Biden's longtime attorney, Anthony Bernal. Now, there's a picture of Jill Biden's attorney there in this clip. Just pleaded the fifth. So I just wanted to give you guys that picture that this ties him and Jill Biden, who was not pardoned, by the way, of any crimes. So we can still go after Jill Biden. And then over here, we have more on Trump. This is a very interesting name that he spills regarding the Autopen scandal. This is posted by Julie Kelly. Something tells me the president's reference to Lisa Monaco is not an accident. We're going to go to the clip where he talks about Lisa Monaco, and we'll go into a little bit more about what her influence could be on this whole thing. Lisa Monaco, first time mentioned on this newscast, so I thought I'd help you fill in on it.
Operations in Los Angeles. Should people expect to see similar operations in the rest of the country? Yeah. And will similar protests see similar response?
As you know, we're moving murderers out of our country that were put here by Biden or the Autopen. The Autopen really did. I mean, the people, whether it's Lisa Monaco or whoever operated the Autopen, these are criminals.
Lisa Monaco or whoever operated the Autopen. He's specifically calling her out. Get ready for her testimony. Lisa Monaco.
People are criminals that allowed these criminals into our country.
Okay, let's do a little bit more on Lisa Monaco, because here's Julie Kelly on that post when she said, this is the next post that she did right here on Lisa Monaco. Okay, we're going to keep track of this gal. It says the secrecy extended into the White House. This is from the Washington Post article. Rice, Susan Rice, Haynes, and White House Homeland Security Advisor Lisa Monaco. White House Homeland Security Advisor Lisa Monaco convened meetings in the Situation Room to weigh the mounting evidence of Russian interference and generate options. They were there to create the Russian interference case for how to respond. At first, only 4 senior security officials were allowed to attend by Lisa Monaco, and they were John Brennan of the Russia hoax, and Clapper, Attorney General Loretta Lynch, and FBI Director James B. Comey. Aides ordinarily allowed entry as plus ones were barred. These are Biden's aides barred from the room by Lisa Monaco. So this could be the shadow government that we're trying to get. You know, Biden and Jill Biden's aides might be buddy-buddy with the Bidens enough, and then Joe Biden might turn on these people, Brennan, Clapper, Lynch, James Comey, and this Lisa Monaco, saying, I did not have anything to do with this. And Trump is bringing out her name with the Autopen scandal. I believe Trump just gave away a little bit of their agenda, which I'm for reporting. And then here's how much worse that Autopen scandal is than you ever imagined. First time I read this right here today, breaking the White House just revealed they're reviewing more than 1 million documents signed by Biden's Autopen. 1 million. That Autopen was generating electricity. We just discovered 0 point electricity. We found a clean burning electricity to replace coal. It's the Autopen is generating so much friction. It was running so fast. Why was generating electricity? This is huge. Everything was done without his full knowledge, and consent must be voided, including the last minute preemptive pardons of, we'll get Fauci, Brennan, Milley, Comey, Adam Schiff, Kinzinger, all of them. White House investigating Biden use of Autopen and sprawling probe of incompetent and senile, that's in quotes, former president. Officials expect the White House counsel's office to review more than 1 million documents related to Biden's Autopen. This scandal's getting bigger. This is where all of MAGA should be focusing our attention, because it is the only way to have a path forward to getting justice. Epstein accomplishes nothing. Overturning the Autopen and exposing the Autopen does everything. We'll be covering all these issues. Don't you worry on this channel. Anytime there's news on either one, we'll cover it. But I'm only saying this one is effective and working. I'm Doug in Exile.